Hello, everybody, and welcome. My name is Gabriela Cubeiro. I'm the CEO and co-founder of CASEpeer. We're the #1 rated case management software for personal injury law firms, and I'm really honored to be here today with a very special guest, Jamie Kohls of GNGF, and we're talking legal marketing. Welcome, Jamie.
Hi, well, thanks for having me on here today.
Well, tell us a little bit about GNGF and what your role is there, Jamie.
Yeah. So, as Gabby said, I'm Jamie Kohls, and I am the community manager of the Legal Marketing Academy, created by GNGF, or Get Noticed, Get Found, as you may have heard it mentioned that way before. We are a full service digital marketing agency with 11 years of experience in the realm. And we are very excited to help attorneys really start their process and even continue their process in growing their client base.
So the reason that we ended up having Jamie join me today is that I met her at ABA Tech Show. We happened to be in an Uber. We weren't sitting next to each other. We had someone in between us in the back seat of a car. And I overheard her talking about some work that she's doing right now with law firms. And the piece that really interested in me is that there's a lot of full service agencies that I think are providing very good service towards large firms or massive firms or firms that already have huge budgets. And not that GNGF doesn't do that, but it felt like you're really still also creating a space and this niche for small firms. And so again, I'm super excited to talk to you about that today. And you actually have a really interesting background. Can you tell us how you got to where you are at GNGF and what you were doing before?
Yeah. So it's actually a really funny story. While I was in law school, I worked at anywhere from really tiny, like one person attorney firms to big, like one of the biggest firms in Cincinnati. And so I had my experience in all different kinds of firms, and I was graduating with a bunch of new attorneys starting their new practice. And some of them were going out on their own for the first time. So when I was applying to jobs, I kind of felt that I wanted to go into like a non-traditional legal career. And I started looking into legal tech, and that's how I found GNGF. And when I was interviewing with Mark, our CEO, I realized that we had all these great things for full service clients, but they really only served the medium to the large size firms like I had worked in. And I was like, okay, but what can you do for attorneys just starting out, like my friends who are literally coming straight out of law school and starting their own practice? What can we do for them? And he honestly just didn't have an answer for me at that time. But once I joined the team and started working on that full service agency lifestyle, we started to develop this thing called the Legal Marketing Academy. And it really serves those people who are just starting out and just getting their hands in some marketing for their new firms.
So tell me a little bit about what the Legal Marketing Academy is. And I know I've got like 100 questions for you all about it, but like we've mentioned it a couple times. So what exactly is it, and who's a great candidate for the Legal Marketing Academy?
Yeah. So the Legal Marketing Academy is basically a classroom setting where we have different people, probably attorneys just starting their marketing for their firm or not yet ready to afford that full service agency as we were speaking about before. But they come in and we have weekly live events teaching them step by step different things that they can do online with their website or their social media or anything digital marketing related. And we really teach them how to do that on their own. It's a DIY process. And they have the availability to ask us questions at any time. We are available 24/7 on Mighty Networks, which is the software we use that hosts
Oh,
our
cool.
Legal Marketing Academy. So it's really, really cool. And we always pull in like the right resources to talk to them, even if we're not the best one to be speaking with them.
Yeah, Mighty Networks is it's an app and stuff. So I was about to ask you how you simulate that classroom setting, and
Mhm.
that probably is a really great tool for that, right?
Yes. Yeah. It allows us to really have Academy members all over the United States. We use Zoom as our live sessions, and it kind of facilitates this whole discussion and community. Even though we might have people practicing personal injury in California and wills and estates in New York, it allows them to come together and learn from each other and learn from their mistakes while just beginning their marketing journey.
And so they can talk between each other as well and kind of learn from each other's mistakes. That's really
Yes, we
cool.
have multiple topic boards. Like some are just fun, like coffee talks, and then some are more related to the advances in digital marketing and asking questions and learning different CRM like everything you can think about to like improve law firm management and marketing. We have a topic board for that.
Very cool. So, excuse me. One of the questions I would have is, like, what are the things that you hear most often when people are getting started? And for those of you joining today, whether you're brand new to marketing your firm or you're doing a little bit of on your own, and I mean, some of you may be coming in or established marketers, but I think you can still learn something from these conversations. So what are some of those questions that are coming up most for you right now, Jamie?
So, especially with the Legal Marketing Academy, a lot of people realize that it's a DIY course. So they're really excited about what is the thing I can do right away that's going to make me the most successful in marketing? And that's like a hard question. We kind of have to reel them back and say, okay, let's talk about your goals, because not everybody has the same goals. And maybe if your goal is to hire somebody, maybe you're starting in a different place than if your goal is to get people through the door right away.
Mm-hmm.
So we really kind of take a step back and evaluate them on an individual basis and let them kind of develop their own path with the coursework that we've already developed in the past.
That makes a lot of sense and actually bleeds perfectly into my next questions, which was about how do you talk to firms about their goals? Because I imagine that everyone's coming to you with a slightly different firm profile, size, market. Like, how do you sit down? Is that a one-on-one experience? And what recommendations might you have to people maybe sitting in their own offices right now today about setting their goals or realistic goals for the year, for example?
Yeah. So we actually approach goals in a couple different ways. We do have a classroom setting video on goals that we kicked off this year with. And it kind of just goes through like what are the goals that we want to set for ourselves to make our own firm successful. And it's going to be different than that of your neighbor. And then we are also planning on following up mid-year, probably the end of June, on our goals to make sure if we need to make adjustments, we're going to make those adjustments. And if we need to maybe refine our goals or they were too easy to achieve, make new goals so that we can reach them by the end of the year. And then we also take the goals on a individual basis. When you first sign up with the Legal Marketing Academy, you get a free audit. And we basically run statistics on your engagement on your website and everything and kind of assess where you stand in the digital world against your competitors. And then we have a one-on-one conversation with you about where you want to be. And so right from the start, you know what your landscape looks like and where you're headed.
That's really cool, because I think that's the piece that a lot of people don't quite know how to necessarily do on their own if they're new to marketing. Mm-hmm. And the other piece that I think is really interesting about when I'm listening to you is that a lot of marketing agencies, they'll say you can't do things on your own, right? And from you, I'm really hearing the opposite, right? Mm-hmm. And, that kind of bleeds in again into my next question, which is like, what advice do you have for firms starting out? And I think I've got a follow-up in here of like, what are some of those things that people could do on their own, and kind of talking a little bit about what that might look like?
Yeah. So the secret to digital marketing is that there really is no secret. Everyone has the ability to go online and learn about digital marketing and SEO and all the tips and tricks that everyone has to help make your online presence better.
I love that you say that, Jamie, because my joke, having experience in marketing back in my day, was the line was, if anyone tells you they're an SEO expert, that's the one you don't want to hire, because exactly. It's just a pile of crap, Yeah. So I love to hear you say that.
It just turns out that when you do hire a full service agency, you're really just saying that I want to take marketing off my plate so I can adjust my attention to other things. And then also they probably have experience, so they can probably do it a little faster, more efficiently. And that is a point you want to get to in your firm. You would like to outsource things when you can. But when you're just starting out, it is something that you can do on your own. And that is, we really try to instill confidence and answer those hard questions that they have. And attorneys are smart, and we deal with really smart people every day. So we know that they can understand this material. It just might take a little time for them to figure it out and work through it.
Mm-hmm. So the main advice is you can do it. It just takes time. Yeah. I love that. So what are some, can small firms do marketing on their own? I think the answer here is yes. Would you recommend typically for a firm starting out, like, is it the attorney is allocating their own time? Is it bringing on a junior staff member to help with that? Like, do you see everything in between?
We see, yes, everything from the attorney themselves doing it. We're struggling through building content for the first time, and maybe even like figuring out what social media platform they want to be on. But we also see people hire in-house marketing, and then also hopefully building up to that point where they can hire an agency to take care of some things for them.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, small firms can absolutely do this on their own. It takes a little bit of elbow grease and some time. And the thing we tell our like academy members is that when it's no longer efficient and you're actually getting people through the door and you're making money off the marketing, that's when you probably should have a sit down conversation about whether or not you want to hire someone to come in and handle your marketing for you, or if you want to hire an agency.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I've talked to firms or talked to attorneys who've kind of done that transition. And it's an interesting thing because in the very early days, like 99%, 95% of your time and energy is spent on driving business, whether it's through referral relationships, your website, your social media, all these things, right? And everything in between. And then and then it's a weird shift where all of a sudden, like, the legal work and the client work and those relationships start to come in. And that's what you've been doing all this work for. Some people really enjoy that piece. And so they'd rather outsource this piece. And that's possible too, right?
Yeah.
And other people, that's the piece you want to move into. So then whether it's an agency or, and even if you do enjoy that piece at some point, if you're growing your business, you probably need some help regardless, whether it's in-house or an agency.
Yeah, we have some academy members who have really enjoyed the process of managing their firm, and they really want to take a step back and not be a active practicing attorney as much, and just want to manage their firm. And then so when they hire, it's going to be a new associate, and they're going to continue to do the marketing work themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's really interesting. I like that. And it's a good thing that it's conversations that you're bringing to them, because I don't think a lot of people necessarily pause to stop and evaluate that for themselves.
Right.
So I have limited time. What's the most important thing to focus on? Is it possible to pick one?
I was going to say that. It's like really hard, and it depends on your goals. But one thing that I've noticed, like across the board, for attorneys, is that the mind shift switch that they have to make to be to be someone who's good at marketing instead of good at law is a little bit difficult. And I think that's like the first hurdle that they have to get over. And so what I mean by that is that instead of thinking about like proving that you know the law, think about how a customer will find you. And so what questions are they asking you when they come in an initial consult? What questions do they have for you? Or maybe if they're trying to hire an attorney, like what are they asking their friends? What should I bring? Questions like that. And that mind shift switch is like, I don't need to show off how smart I am right now. When they come in the door, then you can. But maybe just thinking about how they're coming to you is more important when you're marketing to them.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I imagine too, it depends on, firms. If you've been at a big firm and you've watched the marketing wheels turn, some of that is things that you've been exposed to. If you're, some people, like we have CASEpeer clients that literally graduated law school. They always knew they wanted to go into PI. And especially coming out of law school, studying for the bar, there's like a whole mind shift that needs to happen just coming back into the real world, I think, after that.
I think so.
Yeah. And so that's one of them. Yeah. and that's really like, that's for the organic SEO, right? Like really
Yes.
making sure that you're answering the right questions. Like, people aren't necessarily going to want like the minutia of some legal thing. That's really great maybe for like a referral relationship where you can impress other attorneys, but
Right.
not so much for the clients. What's your take on social media and the part that it plays for legal marketing these days?
So yeah, we think social media is important. We would highly suggest going out and claiming your firm on all the social media platforms.
Hmm.
Uh, when it comes to utilization of social media to get people, we do run Facebook ads for our clients and different types of paid ads. Uh, but if you're really starting out on your own, doing your own marketing and kind of getting your own hands dirty, we say start with one platform and do it well.
Hmm.
Um, it's more important to have like a regular cadence on one platform than to have like a semi-regular or not very regular on all the platforms.
That makes
Um,
sense. Yeah.
yeah. So a lot of people who come to the Legal Marketing Academy have different preferences for social media. Some of the younger ones now are coming to us with TikTok,
Yeah.
and we say that's great, but you want to make sure you're continuing your presence on TikTok and you're utilizing it to the best that you can. And then a lot of people are very familiar with Facebook, as you're
Yeah.
probably aware.
Yeah. Yeah, it is interesting. I see that across our client base too. Like there's sort of the Facebook, there's the Instagram, and then there's the TikTok, which I'm only going to see their videos if they also post them on Instagram because I'm at that age where I'm like, TikTok might be a step too far, but one of these days, right? That's where all
Oh
the
yeah.
magic is happening right now.
I have a younger sister, so she's gotten me on TikTok
Okay,
a
I
couple
hear it's
times.
very addictive. I don't think I need another distraction in my life.
That's the problem.
I love it. All right. So what's the one thing that you teach in the academy that firms could maybe start doing right now? Or if there's a takeaway that today our guests could walk away with, what might that be?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was talking to a couple of our trainers that are in the Legal Marketing Academy every single day, and we really feel like something that's easy and really has a schedule behind it. So if you're working through things on your own for the first time, this is the most guided thing that we can provide to you is the 90-day content plan that we've developed. Uh,
Mhm.
we'll talk. We'll send you to gngf.com/CASEpeer to download some like calendars and a workbook for this 90-day content plan. But basically what it is utilizing the things that you do every single day and developing content and utilizing it in many different ways so that you can have a consistent posting basis with as little effort as possible, basically.
I love that. Yeah, and we have we'll post that link into the chat too,
Yeah.
to make sure that people can go in there and access that. Awesome. Thank you
Mhm.
for doing that. And yeah, so the 90-day content plan, I'm going to ask you to talk a little bit more about that
Yeah.
in a minute. But so this is a question, gosh, anytime I talk to anyone who's in like the legal services industry or whatever, I love to talk about success stories because I think a lot of
Mhm.
people, everything feels daunting, right? Whether
Yes.
you're looking to take your business to the next level with marketing or referrals or whatever it is. So, what's one thing, like, what's a success story or a moment over the year that you've been doing what you've been doing? Like, what stands out to you?
So one of our newer members joined the Legal Marketing Academy, and one of our first videos is about getting reviews, right? So something that seems pretty easy, but for some of these more sensitive areas of law, like bankruptcy or even wills, it's harder to get reviews in those areas because they're more sensitive topics. So we were talking to them, and we said, maybe reach out to some of your old clients and really see how they view you and see if they would leave you a review, and maybe even ask them about your brand, see if if you match up with what you think you're portraying to your clients. So he reached out to some of his old clients that he liked. He actually ended up getting 6 new cases
Wow.
and right off the rip, just by reaching out, and then they had referrals for him because they enjoyed him so much and they just didn't know how to reach back out.
Oh,
So
that's amazing. I love that.
just a little bit of effort in the academy really can go a long way. And we love hearing those stories. We love utilizing our tools to help firms grow.
Mhm. Well, gosh, for those of you listening and you don't have like an email drip campaign going out to your past clients, today might be a good day to start that.
Exactly.
Shake some reviews and business off the tree. I love though that piece of advice of asking, especially if you're a new firm that's still trying to figure out really is your brand landing the way that you want it to.
Mhm.
One thing I've noticed is that inevitably, right, we all end up living in our little vacuums. And so I'm in legal tech and I know lots of attorneys, and that's my Instagram bubble or my social media bubble. And that's who I see at all my work, non-work events, right?
Mhm.
And if you're just talking to those people, that's not necessarily right who's hiring you, unless again, if you're
Legal malpractice.
yeah, yes, exactly, or a, litigation only that takes things from pre-litigation for
Right.
yeah, it's important. I love that advice to reach out to past clients or, and this is I've always historically heard the like ask your, sister-in-law's cousin to take a look at your brand.
Yes.
What is she
Someone
thinking
distanced
about
enough.
it? That's someone who's not in law, someone who more represents your clientele
Yeah,
and really getting their insight and, honest feedback and someone who's going to tell you the truth too, which is important.
absolutely. That's
Yeah.
very important.
Yeah, I love that. That's just a fantastic story, Jamie. That's great.
Yeah.
So I hear you have some live events, and I know we touched on the mobile app a little bit, but
Mhm.
I heard a little bit about this and I wanted to know more.
Yeah. So every single Tuesday in the Legal Marketing Academy, we have a live, pretty much tutorial event where we go through a section of digital marketing. It can be anything from paid ads to building your website for the first time to like unique value propositions and branding. Uh, and it really covers the gamut of marketing. Uh, but we do it every single Tuesday, and our academy members seem to really love it. In addition to that, we also have opportunities for like live Q&As as a follow-up to those academy sessions so that they have an opportunity to work through their issues, ask their questions, even if it's on a past video that we uploaded after we had the live.
That's very cool. And it sounds like with the videos that there's a library too, that if they're part of the
Mhm.
academy, they could take part in that and sort of learn as you go.
Yeah, every single live session is recorded. We put it on the Mighty Networks mobile app so that you can access it at any time.
That's cool. I think when one of our past conversation, I think you told me you had one new client that like went in even before it started and watched like 15 videos and was like off to the races and
Oh, yeah.
doing all their homework ahead of time to really kickstart their marketing. And that's really cool. I love that you do that.
I think it's the nature of a lot of attorneys to be
Yes.
go-getters. Once they
Yeah.
join something, they kind of dive all in.
And learners, right? I think having
Yes.
it too to go back and rewatch is really
Mhm.
important and super helpful as well. I love that. And so the app's on the Mighty Network, and is that like I don't know if that's the best place for people to find you. I imagine not. So how do people like reach out to you, Jamie, or what's the best way for them to learn more about the academy?
Yeah, if you go to gngf.com/casepeer, we actually have a page set up for everyone on this webinar that they can access the Mighty Networks mobile app and the Legal Marketing Academy through there.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that. And I heard you're going to offer us a free download, which is really cool. I think there's a link that's been dropped into that. But so tell me a little bit more about the 90-day marketing plan that you're open to sharing with everyone who attended today.
Yeah. So as I said before, you're going to get a calendar and a workbook with the 90-day marketing plan. And it's going to take you step by step through building out content on your website and social media. Uh, Basically, what it starts with is a couple videos about questions that you get frequently asked in your initial consult, right?
Mhm.
So, what paperwork should I bring? And then maybe even some videos that people aren't asking you, but you wish they were asking you, right? So, um, things how how should I dress for court and stuff like
Ooh,
that.
I like
Um, but you'll take those and you'll develop this 30-second short FAQ video. And then it teaches you kind of how to take that and transcribe it and utilize it on social media as a text post, utilize it as an image post, and really get the most out of those 6 videos and spread them across your platforms. So basically, out of those 6 videos and a couple other small drafted things, you'll get 90 days worth of content. And then
Well,
it's
you're
also
making it sound easy, Jamie.
I know. It seems easy. Sometimes people get a little camera shy and it makes it not as easy as it seems.
Mhm.
But once you get comfortable and you realize it's only 30 seconds and you're answering these questions anyway every single day for clients, you're just not filming yourself. You'll realize that it can be easy and it can be something that you do in addition to managing this law firm.
Mhm. And actually, Jamie, I'm going to ask a follow-up on that. Do you have any advice for people getting comfortable in front of the camera? And I know some of you joining today, I know some of you guys are doing some videos online. Any advice? Go ahead and put them in the chat. I'm curious.
Yeah, so luckily, we have our great video producer here, Daniel, but he helps me through some of the more technical things. And then we talk all the time here about getting comfortable in front of cameras and joining groups even of public speaking. It's hard to talk to like nobody. That's why it's hard to talk to a
Yeah.
camera. But if you can get comfortable, just kind of have a conversation with yourself and realizing that there's going to be an audience watching you, it gets more comfortable.
Yeah, that's cool. And I know Daniel helped out with one event that I participated in, and there's some really cool technology too that makes it easy. And I don't know if this is part of the 90-day plan or if it's something that if someone reaches out, but just for those of you attending, I'm sure Jamie can follow up with Daniel about it. But it was a really cool piece of tech where it would even scroll the text right above the camera. So like I could read these captions and it made it easy. I mean, it's still weird. You're right. I love coming on camera and doing webinars like this or even speaking in front of a crowd, but talking to yourself feels so counterintuitive. I haven't mastered that for myself yet.
So yeah, we have like a couple free resources that are available to everyone here today. But if you do end up joining the Legal Marketing Academy, we actually have a 3-part series just on the 90-day content calendar, which makes you feel like maybe it's not as easy as it seems. But there's just a lot of things tips and tricks to make things a little bit easier and better for you as you go along the way. So we actually have 3 videos on that, and Daniel does a great video on how to improve your video production.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, very cool. Oh, that's a great tip. I love that. Yeah, having someone actually help you asking the question off camera. Yeah, that's a really good suggestion. I like that. It's almost like we've got an expert in our midst here. I love it. Awesome. Well, so Jamie, we have some follow-up information here for you. In the meantime, do we have any questions in the group? We have Jamie's time for a little bit while longer. But obviously we've got your email here so people can reach out to you directly. You can certainly go visit GNGF.com. And you guys are on Instagram as well. So we'll go check you out there. Are you guys on TikTok yet or not yet?
Not yet. We're trying. We're
love
really focusing on the social media we know best.
Yeah, no, I hear you. We're CASEpeer's not on TikTok yet either, but you know, I'm sure it's inevitable at some point. But we're on Instagram, Twitter, and obviously anyone's welcome to always reach out to me. And then for any of you joining, you'll have a replay, and we've added the link to the follow-up email as well. So if for whatever reason you guys don't grab it here in the chat, we'll make sure to get you that 90-day link to the 90-day content calendar. And certainly if anyone has any trouble accessing it, just reach out to Jamie or our team or me, and we'll make sure to put you in touch with the right people. But yeah, well, I don't know if we have any follow-up questions. Jamie, any last words of wisdom or anything you want to leave us with?
Just to say that if you're really considering starting marketing your small firm, that you can do it. It is a DIY thing. The information is there. And if you need help, we're here to help you, but you can do it yourself.
Oh, I love that, Jamie. Well, thank you so much for coming and talking to me. Honestly, such a pleasure. I don't think there's anyone out there doing anything quite like it. So It's really lovely to learn more about what you guys are up to, Jamie.
Well, thank you for having us. We really appreciate it.
Wonderful. All right. Well, everyone, thanks for joining. Thank you, Jamie. Thank you, GNGF. And I hope you all have a wonderful day. And any questions you may have, send them our way, and we'll make sure to get answers for you. Thanks, everyone, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.